Hello. Hope anyone here can hear me. Let's check it out. Sorry if you can't hear anything yet. I want to check that I'm actually live and that I can share the URL. Okay, that was the feedback. Okay, so let's get this link shared. Sorry if you're just staring at code and I'm not really doing anything yet. It's actually my second time, but my first time doing this for an audience. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to hear my feedback or not. I think not. See this. Okay, I figured it out. On YouTube, I'm supposed to mute the feedback. Okay, great. So, okay, a little bit about what I'm going to do. Okay, I've had a few take-home projects. Like the one Sean Allen made. Well, most of the times you get a URL, you're supposed to parse it and show it, and maybe go to a detail view, and so on. And what I decided to do was to take one of these take-home projects, this one, and I started implementing new concepts, techniques that I've learned. First one was supporting MVVM, because this project was built with MVC. And when I started to work on that, I decided to make a blog post, a Medium post, about like the journey of the steps that I took to convert it from MVC to MVVM. And so I did that part, and then I added coordinators, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I worked on adding the coordinator pattern, and I used what Guilherme Rambo showed in the .swift, that the flow controller could be a UI view controller, and that worked great. I can show you it here. Let's see that it switches window. Flow, yes, flow controllers, yes. See, I had a main app flow controller, which was of type UI view controller. And it had its own navigation controller. And okay, here you start to see all sorts of code that's commented out, which is already a step that I took afterwards. But first I tried to use the UI view controller as the flow controller, and it worked fine with one flow. Afterwards, I wanted to see if I could incorporate two flow controllers. So here I had a main flow controller, main app, and a bank info flow controller, and I just couldn't get it to work. So I went back and listened to Soroush's talk and read Paul's Hacking with Swift article about coordinators, and I decided to move to an object that will be a coordinator, and I also created another project, a side project, only to get it to work, and it worked. I'll upload that to GitHub, and I'll post the link in the show notes, in the notes, descriptions, if anyone wants to take a look. And now I'm going to incorporate that flow in my main like work in progress app, which is also something I have on my GitHub, which anyone who wants can take a look and enjoy, maybe learn something. Okay, so two more things. One is another plug I also read John Sundell's post about navigation in Swift. I'll have also links to every one of the topics I touched on, where he uses a protocol for the navigator. He calls it the navigator, and this is basically how it works. You have navigate to call, and it takes a destination. And the great thing about that is that even if you have many navigators, they can all conform to a single protocol. I tried something else here, but they can all conform to a single protocol, and in each navigator object, you set an enum for the destination that the navigator can go through. So like if you have a sign-up flow that has like 5 steps or whatever, then the enum would be step 1, step 2, and so forth. And if it's an onboarding, then the destination would be main features and how to subscribe and that sort of thing. I think maybe we could also implement something like that in this app. It's a very simple app. Wow. Now that I think of it, if I run it, I need OBS to know that I want to add a new capture, right? Let's see if I can add it on the fly. Yay! Let's see on YouTube. Okay, it will probably take a while till I see it. Okay. Yes. So the app. Okay, could be that because this is a new project, it won't even load. Okay. And another thing I wanted to touch on. First time, I'm not really sure what I'm doing sometimes. Sometimes in code, sometimes in the YouTube stream on OBS. It's all new to me. Well, not entirely new to coding, but during the process of working, I tend to write like ugly code. Okay, just like get it to work. Okay, not indented. Maybe sometimes the variable names and the function names are not nice. Oh yeah, okay, crash. So again, it's mostly and like see how I'm trying to use it like the quartering is now, how I'm going to implement it in my main app, then that's great. But like if you're looking for clean, concise code, I'm sorry in advance. You know what? I'm just going to this will be my third branch. For coordinators, because I get the concept. Okay, you want someone on a higher level to handle the flow of the app, sometimes even giving a view a dependency, but then getting it to work with multiple views, multiple navigation, multiple flows was challenging. Okay, I just want to show you the app error. Okay, I'm getting buffering warning error. Okay, let's see. Okay, and this. Okay, this is with FlowController because, again, as I said, I managed to create it with that's a protocol as a UI view controller, sorry, which conforms to the Navigator protocol, just like I merged what Guilherme showed in .swift and what I read from John Sundell's blog post into one code, into my code. Okay, works fine for one flow controller, like this main app flow controller is what gets assigned in the app delegate. Yes, this is the, because it's a UI view controller. Wow, sorry. It can be a root view controller to the main window. Okay, and then it has a navigation controller, and that navigation controller has the root view controller, which is the bank list, which I'll show you now. Yes, there may be pauses in sometimes when I talk, trying to do some other prep work on the side. Slowness, yes. I'm working on a MacBook Air that's late, mid 2013, with only 4 gigs of RAM, i5, It's running Xcode, OBS, the simulator. Okay, yes, you'll note that I have an issue with the images. I've had it since day one. Of course, I'll work to fix that. But this is the app. It gets the bank list from a local JSON. And when you select the bank, you go and get the intraday info per timestamp, and then you show that in a table view. And you get the image. You can save the image from the net and save it to a local cache. I won't go over the architecture of the app, but I did try to make everything like a single component. So you have the time series data and the image caches and a lot of utilities for extensions and the models, some constants. It's written in code, no storyboard at all. And that's the basics of it. Okay, so I think I'm going to make stop this. Discard changes, and I'll make a new branch. We'll call it multi-object flow. Create branch. Publish branch. By the way, I love working with the GitHub Desktop. I worked with the source tree at my work, and when I started my own project, like my own app. But ever since I got demand, it was a must that the take-home project be submitted via GitHub. I've used the GitHub desktop app. Okay. So now, because I do have code that already works, and I know it works, I tested it, I'll be copy pasting most of the code. So that's like a little rehearsed. So I hope that goes smooth. Let's start with the protocol. Okay. I want to change the name because they use a different name. I'm gonna call it Flow Coordinator. I'll copy paste. The functions are the same and the associated type also, but I already had comments here. See, it's not aligned. I'm fixing it now. So, like I said, the destination for each view controller, you can have a different set of destinations. The start method is where we tell the flow controller, FC is flow controller, what it needs to do when it starts, which view controller needs to show, whatever. And navigate is called when we take an action in the view controller. Okay, so that's the protocol. I'll leave this name for now. Maybe I'll change it later. So now we make new file. 1 second. Sorry about that. Have kids around. Work from home, right? Well, I'm not working from home because I am looking for a job. And then it's probably not the best time to be looking for one. I have been looking for a few months, but we have to deal with how it is, right? Okay, wait. I do have a main app flow controller here, but basically it goes. I'll replace all of it because this doesn't, even though it's a UI view controller, it doesn't, it's just because it's a UI view controller, it's a flow controller. It's nothing to do with the view. This will be totally deleted. So, okay, the protocol will be here. I'm fine with that. And flow controllers will be here. So, I have a new file, Swift file, call it flow controller, create it. I'll leave the main app flow controller for now. I'll probably delete it later. Okay, so class main flow controller which conforms to flow coordinator. Okay. Again, I'm copy pasting most of this, so that's why I have it down. Let's create our enum now. Okay, so the main app flow controller, you need to know, will probably most of the time not direct you to a specific screen, okay? It will direct you to a specific flow. So you start the app, first off, it'll be onboarding flow. And when the onboarding flow finishes, you'll have sign up or login flow, right? Because you'll want to, for the second time, you'll want that flow to start. So the user, if they decided to log in or not, they'll still see the same screen. Okay, so that's one flow. And after they choose the login flow, like the login action, you'll go to a login flow. And if they chose a sign up action, like tap the sign up button, they'll go to the sign up flow. So mostly the main flow controller will control flows. That's the destinations. So here we'll have like a onboarding flow and show banks flow. Sometimes I forget. It will need to have a nav controller. Okay, this needs to be like it because navigation control has an init. Okay. Here we can do something nice. You can go to the class name and refactor, and why am I not seeing create, generate, missing function? Should have a create, generate, forgot the name. From here. Because it's missing a function generation? Okay, so if we have a stub, okay, now if we go to refactor, there was create, generate member-wise initializer. Okay. I love making marks. I try to do it all the time. I also love the autocomplete. It should be self. Again, sometimes it's Xcode, sometimes it's my error. Okay. So, okay, this is the main flow controller, right? You have an initializer. For now, I'll try to handle the show back flow, and the onboarding flow probably handle in a different time, different stream maybe. But okay, this is the first one that will get initiated, and we do that from the scene delegate. So I bet most of you are working with iOS 13, which has the new scene delegate. So this is where you can create the first window for the app, probably also other windows. I haven't worked with that yet. But if you're working with code, you need to start your app here. Okay, this is also old code. Can get rid of that. So set the root. Okay, not set the root to VC. We want to see it. We want okay. So the app will be built around the navigation. So have a navigation controller. Okay, we need this as a variable here. So we create the main coordinator, and we give it the navigation controller, and we tell it start. Of course, I forgot an L. And the root view controller will be in the navigation controller we created here. The main flow controller will receive this navigation controller, and that's how the flow will start. Okay. So I haven't created the screen that will show like onboarding or like select if you want to show the banks or not. So for now, I'll just create the banks VC. I already see that I'm using a flow controller in the banks. Okay, let's see. Flow controller. I don't need that. I don't need that. Let's just uncomment that for now. Again, this is something I like to do. If I'm iterating on something, I comment out what I think I don't need. Once it works, I can delete it. But that's how I like. Okay, so here, this will tell the flow controller later to that we selected a collection view, and it will decide where to go. Let's create the view model. Okay. Basically, okay, I said here instead of bank view, bank list will show like the first screen you want to show in the app ever, right? And if you have like an odd morning that you want to show once, then here you'll make the decision, right? In the main flow controller, you'll have a boolean that's saved most likely in the user defaults, that will represent if the user saw the onboarding. Okay, and if they did, then you'll transition straight away to the first view that your app will show after that each time. And if not, you'll show the first screen of the onboarding flow. Okay, or start flow an onboarding flow navigator here in start. But right now, I'll just focus on showing the banks view controller, banks list view controller. Okay. Now we have nav control. We push the banks list. View controller. That's okay. Typing the correct name. Why is this false? Because this is the first view we'll see, we'll probably wouldn't want it to slide from right to left or left to right, depending on the language. We'll probably just want it to be shown. So this is why this is false for the main, for the first screen that we'll show. Most likely the next screens of view controllers that will push will be animated with true. Okay. I think that's it. Let's test it. Again, something I like to do, like make a step and check that it works. Sometimes I'll forget, like, okay, here. Oh, this is the main app flow controller, the old one. So again, I just like to comment them out because I can delete it later. And as I said, I make something, I take a small step and I check how it went, what the outcome is. And most times I'll forget add subviews or when working with auto layout in code, you have the property. Okay, here we're seeing that it's a blank screen. Of course, you can see in like the view debugger. This will probably kill the error. Okay, we have a bank list view controller, but okay. I now remember when this main app flow controller worked and it had the view did load, it made the initial load of the bank list. And once it finished parsing on data, it called the view controller, represent, and the view controller would just reload. So now probably, okay, I'll tell you one more thing that I've done recently. I'm working with Donnie Wells was like checking my code a little and helping me with guidance to issues that I've never dealt with, like again guiding me. Um, and I don't remember if I sent him. No, I didn't send him yet. Working with the view model. He told me to make the networking call. It's not really networking because it's local JSON, but um, in the view model. So that will probably go here at some time. But for now, I can put it back here. I usually don't fix my indentations when I work on the code, only at the end. Because sometimes you write code and you read it and you comment it out. And you're not sure that it's going to work. So I don't pay that much attention when I'm in the development stage. No, no, it won't work because we didn't call it. So like this would probably be a call to the view model, backslash view model, and this will sit in the backslash view model. So the view controller will not be the one loading. It doesn't load the data, but not even initiating the call. Okay, great. And again, this won't work. Okay, so I hope you're not hearing some arguing over here. Okay. Um, let's just um, okay. So okay. Since this works, and I know I'm going to change it, I'll just do it now. Mm, okay. So I think I'll stop here. Maybe I'll do some offline work, because like creating a new screen and creating a layout and maybe thinking of, okay, let's see how we can transition from a main from the startup screen to the banks and an onboarding won't be so interesting. I'll do that offline, and hopefully I'll do this again when I'm actually working on the flow. So thank you very much for joining me. If you have any feedback, comments, I'd love to hear them. You can write them here. I'll leave a link to my Twitter. You can catch me there, DM me there, and I'll see you soon. Bye.